How you doing out there, everybody? James D. Jones here, your morning show host, and I have a wonderful guest. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and focusing on the levels of mental health care and understanding mental health services from prevention to treatment. And in the studio with me, I have Jamie Kozma, Executive Director of the Nexus Family Healing. So, Jamie, give us a little background and the listeners a little background of who you are and what you do.
Good morning, James. Always fun to be back here, by the way.
Always good to have you back.
So my name's Jamie Kozma, and I'm the Executive Director at Nexus Family Healing in Onarga. You might have used to known us by other names, but today we really focus on that family healing aspect. And I've been there for 26 years and 3 months now.
Wow.
So kind of done all the different jobs on campus. Been a therapist, a supervisor, a clinical director, and I've been executive director for about 4.5 years now. So I'm really proud of what we do there, and I'm really excited to be able to talk a little bit more about it this morning.
Yeah, so with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, I mean, this is a great time to talk about things because, you know, we've got that. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Nexus Family Healing has been a leader in sharing the important messages about preventing a crisis with the 988 Suicide in Crisis Lifeline. Now, Jamie, can you tell us what Nexus is focusing on for this year's Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yes, absolutely. Last year we did focus on the 988 Suicide in Crisis Lifeline, and this year we want to look at the broader view of everything that mental health care looks like. Here in Iroquois County specifically, what the different services are that are available, what the services are that are out there, and how families can access that kind of health care when it's needed. So we know that that's a big priority here in Iroquois County. County leaders have identified it as something that Iroquois County is prioritizing. And so we want to really be a big part of that. That's really, we're sort of farther along in that continuum of care within the overall mental health continuum of care. But there's a lot of resources available to families here in the county when something is going amiss with a family member, when someone is struggling. And we want to just get that message out there that it's never a bad thing to ask for support, that it's never a bad idea to reach out for help for yourself. Because getting help for yourself or a loved one early, especially when things start to go wrong, can really make all the difference. Getting care before a crisis happens is really, really key.
So the earlier you act, the better it is for that person.
Absolutely. Mental health care is very similar to physical health care. You want to catch something before it becomes a major problem. It's okay if not, because there's different levels of care to respond to whatever's going on with an individual. But
well, can you tell us more about the level of care and what we can do, and what can we do when we feel like we're struggling, or if our kids might even be struggling? What can be done?
Yes, I would love to talk about that. So the first line of care for mental health issues is definitely preventative care. There's a lot of things we can do to make ourselves more resilient and stronger and more able to deal with stress, and to make our kids and our families also stronger and just more resilient. So that's a lot of things. That can look like a lot of things that you might not even think of it as mental health care. So there's mental health education. There's school programs that teach coping skills. So if your child's teacher or social worker or school counselor is teaching, what we often hear about social emotional learning in schools these days. That's teaching coping skills. That's teaching kids how to resolve fights with each other, how to solve problems, how when they're upset, what to do about it. That type of thing is so incredibly valuable. Workplace wellness programs, employee assistance programs, health programs, that type of thing at work, support groups that people might just put together on their own. Maybe some families are united by grief, unfortunately, and they get together and form a support group. That kind of thing is also mental health care. It doesn't have to come from a therapist. Mental health screenings, incredibly important, just to pick up on things, because often people don't realize that they're struggling when they're struggling because it just feels like daily reality. So those screenings are incredibly important. And then, the next step from that would be community and outpatient type services, such that are provided at Iroquois County Mental Health Center. And these days we have the IMH Specialty Clinic as well that provides those community services. That could look like individual counseling, seeing a therapist. That could mean going to a group related to a particular thing that you're struggling with, maybe a depression group or something like that. That could mean family therapy. Often it's hardest to talk to the people that we love the most, and somebody in the room can help do that. And then, medication management. That could be a psychiatrist, but that could also be your primary care physician. It just looks like so many things.
There's a lot involved, to say the least. Now, last year we were all about the 988 hotline. Where does the 988 hotline fall into the levels of care, and when do we need to take immediate action, Jamie?
That's a great question. The 988 hotline, we think of it as crisis intervention. When somebody has a mental health crisis that needs attention right away, that's when people should be calling that 988 hotline. They could actually call, like we said, earlier is better. So even if somebody is struggling, say, with suicidal thoughts, but they think, oh, no, it's not that serious yet, they should probably just go ahead and call, because it never hurts to. There's never, no one will ever be in trouble for calling that hotline, and it's not big enough of a problem. That's not going to happen. People are there to help. So crisis hotlines are part of that, these levels of care. And it's what exists when it's an acute situation and it really needs attention right away. The other great thing about that 988 hotline, though, it's a hotline, but it's also, they call it a warm line. It also connects you to resources in your community. So the hotline is the emergency stuff that you need right away, but that 988 hotline also will connect you with long-term care in your community.
Nice.
Not every community has the same resources, but the 988 hotline makes that effort to get you connected to something long-term and not just to only look at the current crisis.
So by calling that number, not only are you getting immediate help, but you're also getting a longer-term
yes,
help.
And that's one of the goals, to never leave somebody without a connection to more help.
Well, and they don't feel left alone.
Absolutely.
So they've got
There's
someone.
some follow-up. There's someone, exactly.
They're not forgotten or fell between the cracks.
Yes.
No, that's good. Now, what role does Nexus play in the different levels of mental health care, and where are you on the intensity scale, Jamie?
We are looked at as the next level of care for children and adolescents who have had symptoms, mental health symptoms, to the extent that they cannot remain in their parents' home for one reason or another. They might be acting out in school or the community in some kind of way, and they need to be able to be in a stable, structured environment to work on those issues. And that's where we come in. We have actually different levels of care within our facility. We have residential care, which is the biggest part of what we do, and that looks like kids that are living together in a dorm-like setting, and they're going to school, and they're going to therapeutic groups, and they're working on their issues. But we also have other levels of care for kids that have succeeded in that residential care, and now they need something with a little more responsibility and a little more freedom so that they can learn how to deal with that. And that could look like our group home. We have a transitional living program. We also have a therapeutic foster care program where youth live in a foster home with a foster parent, and that foster parent has training to be able to work with our kids when they do still experience some of those struggles with their emotions or with their behaviors or their thinking. But it is a foster home. They are foster kids. They just get that extra therapeutic care that a typical foster home wouldn't have the resources to provide. So, we give services to kids that need services to be where they live, and they need to live where the services are.
Right. That makes great sense. And I'll tell you what, we're glad that the importance of mental health is being recognized, not only nationally, but also at the local level. So with that being said, Jamie, where can our listeners find this information and more?
Well, at our own website, the nexusfamilyhealing.org website, we have a campaign right now called Before It's a Crisis. And it's a video series. I know a lot of folks really love to watch videos these days. And it's very user-friendly. And it also, along with the video series, we have things that you can download and use for yourself. Like we have a mental health readiness plan that you can go through and plan in advance, not be reactive for if my family needs these services, if I need these services, if my kid needs these services, we know exactly where to go. So that's a great resource to use. It can really be very helpful when something unexpected happens that you already know exactly what you're going to do about that. So I would advise listeners, if you want to hear more, go to Nexus Family Healing, that's all one word, .org/prevention-treatment. And you can check out the Before It's a Crisis video series and learn more about how to prepare your family for potential mental health needs in the future, because every family is going to experience some level of mental health needs at some point, just through the natural things that happen in our lives.
Yeah.
And it's really it's a good idea to be prepared.
And I like this where you've got a plan.
Exactly.
So this is a great resource for parents, family members, to have a plan that everyone can go, okay, this is what we need to do. Let's just stick to the plan and try to make it work, right?
Exactly. And you've kind of got all that decision making out of the way, so you don't have to think, do we do this? Do we not do this? Do we need to do this? Is this legitimate? You've already kind of decided that in advance, and I think that's a great idea.
Well, this resource is like a guideline, an instruction, basically, step by step.
Absolutely.
So that's good stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, here we are. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and you've got so many great things going on. If folks wanted to find out more about Nexus, all right, what would be the best way for folks to find out all about Nexus Onarga Family Healing? Is there a good website, Facebook page? Where could folks go?
Yeah, I would say both of those things. Nexus Family Healing has a wonderful website with lots of resources, and you'd find out about Nexus. That's a bigger company. That we're in 5 different states and just have outpatient facilities, residential facilities, and everything in between. For adolescents across the country, but also Nexus Onarga specifically. There's obviously a page on the bigger website, but we also have a wonderful Facebook page that if you like and follow it, it'll give you just a look into what we do. We have so many events that we put on for the kids, really just working on their mental health from different angles and expanding their horizons and keeping them physically healthy, making sure they get exercise. And we are able to post about that. We're so proud of the work we do with the kids. So I would really love it if folks checked out our Facebook page.
And what is it under on Facebook?
Nexus Onarga Family Healing. Just go ahead and type that into your Facebook search bar, and it'll take you right to us.
So, folks, if you got questions, you want to check it out, that's a good place to start with the information right at your fingertips.
Yep, and that can give you the link to the bigger website as well.
And you can ask questions. I can imagine direct messaging and the whole
Yes,
bit.
you can.
Fantastic.
You absolutely can.
Well, I want to thank you, Jamie, for coming here and really making it, everyone aware about Mental Health Awareness Month, the services that you guys provide, and the kids that you help.
Thank you. I love to talk about it.
Yeah, that's so important for so many families.
Yes,
and
we've got
kids.
Young men from all over Illinois, from every background and every walk of life.
Yeah.
The thing that they're united by is needing the type of help that they need.
And thank goodness they have resources here to take care of those needs.
Yes.
And once again, folks, we'll end it on this. For folks who are concerned or if there's an issue, they can dial 988.
Absolutely.
And that's another resource for you. So, folks, feel free to use these resources and just be aware of Mental Health Awareness Month and what we can do to make it better for everyone else.
Thank you, James.
You're more than welcome. And with that, well, you know what? We've got some music coming up from Bobby Caldwell and What You Won't Do for Love here at 94.1 WGFA.